Let me update you again on the debt reduction talks and the potential of default by the United States Treasury. High-level talks at the White House today. President Obama and congressional leaders from both parties met. Afterwards, the president said the meeting was constructive and they'll meet again Sunday. As we told you, Mr. Obama has reportedly agreed to put on the table possible cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security to get a sweeping deal on debt reduction with the Republicans. And some Democrats say that is too much.
Cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid need to and should be taken off the table. And second, that revenue increases must be a meaningful part of any agreement.
Joining us now from Washington is that man, member of Congress. We heard from there, Raúl Grijalva, Democrat of Arizona. Congressman, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for the invite, Edie. Appreciate it.
Now, what do you think about this? The meeting behind closed doors with the leadership. Is that the right way to go about this?
Well, I think there's so much at stake and so much posturing and political posturing that is going around raising the debt ceiling that more transparency is necessary to all of a sudden be discussing Social Security for potential cuts, Medicare, Medicaid, and where we have heard nothing about what revenue generation is going to happen as part of this deal, I think concerns many of us. And that's why enough of us are signing on to a letter to the president that if those items, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicare are part of the benefit cuts to the American people, we're not supporting any deal.
You know, I agree with you in the part that the president and congressional leaders have all been talking a lot, but they don't give you many specifics. You know, we know the problems, we know what we need to fix, but how exactly are you going to do that? So when the president says, well, put this on the table, or Republicans say, well, we'll put that on the table, exactly how much will they give? And I understand that you want to have personal time with the president, that more of the progressive Democrats want to get together and talk to him and tell him what you think. Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, I hope so, and we've made that request. We have yet to meet with the president or his economic advisors relative to what our contributions are to this discussion.
Well, what would you tell him? What would you tell him? I know that you would say, leave alone Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. You believe in revenue increases. Where do you think those come?
We also believe there's reductions, but they can be done in areas that are important. We've talked about the subsidies to big oil and big gas. The billions upon billions that could bring back to the Treasury that could be used for reductions. We've talked about rolling back those tax cuts. We've talked about issues allowing Medicare to purchase pharmaceuticals in bulk that would save billions of dollars for the program, and instead of weakening it, you would strengthen it. We've talked about a transition fee for large movement of financials in the stock market. We've put on the table, including getting us out of these two wars that are costing us billions and billions of dollars every month with no end in sight. So we feel that there are specifics that need to be talked about. But the items I've just outlined for you, Edie, those are sacrosanct. The Republicans don't want to talk about it, so therefore we don't talk about it. So the only thing we hear coming out of these private discussions is Social Security's on the block, Medicare's on the block, and Medicaid on the block. And many of us felt that it's time to push back to both the leadership, Republican leadership, and to some extent the administration, and say we cannot support a deal like that. Now, it's skewed, it's out of balance.
I have heard little rumblings that Republican leaders may agree to talk about the oil subsidies and some other things, but still, there's such a huge gap between what people on one side and the other want. It seems like it's almost insurmountable. Do you have much hope that by Sunday they'll come up with any more specifics that they can, and as I said, the president said it's constructive or productive. Boehner said constructive, but no details. Do you think they'll get any?
I'm not overwhelmingly optimistic that something's going to a magic bullet would appear on Sunday that's going to get us out of this default crisis that the Republicans have created. I think what the American people want to know is what specific items are we talking about? You know, things come forward, then they go away. And so I think by us saying we don't want Social Security on the table, we don't want Medicaid or Medicare, we are actually responding to what 60% of the American people in the latest poll have said. Leave those off the table. And I think there is more than enough that we can look at to generate revenue and to make reductions in our budget, including the military, that isn't even talked about.
Congressman Raúl Grijalva, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.